Alrighty, so before I do get more serious about this whole getting stronger thing I've started, I figured it would be pretty fun to actually go in and test out my one rep maxes and try and get a more accurate idea of what those might actually be. So this morning, instead of going in and doing my planned workout for the day, I instead tested out my one rep max for my bench press, my back squat, and overhead press. And for me, I'm not maxing out for over a year now when I checked. Surprisingly, it did go pretty well. So, since being more serious about weightlifting, I have already started a new program that is based off of guesses of my one rep max. So, I did want to actually test these out for real this time and just see how good of a job I may have guessed on those or how awful I did at that. So, this will also just give me a pretty good baseline that I can use for future reference, and also be cool just to come back and see just how far I've come after hopefully I've been doing this for some time. First up, I did go do my squats. So these used to be my favorite lift, but we are no longer in those times anymore. I did do a couple warm-up sets, and I did eventually get up to 245, which coming into that day, for some reason, that is what I had planned my one rep max to be. And boy, was I very wrong, because though the weight did feel incredibly heavy on my back since I have not done anything close to this in quite a while now, I did hit it pretty good. So I figured I would jump on up to 265, which again I was able to get. And I thought I could probably squeak out a little more weight. So I did go up to 275, and goddamn was it heavy, but I'd say that I hit it with some okay enough form. So I was completely happy stopping there and calling that my one rep max. Since I had completely blown my guess out of the water, it was fine by me. I do want to keep working on my form and just better bracing, and hopefully by the end of this year I am trying to get back up to 365 on back squats. Next up, I went over to face my arch nemesis, the bench press, after some warm-ups. The first real weight I did attempt was 175, which it did go up pretty easily. So I did 185 next, which is what I had expected my max to be. It felt all right. I think I could have probably been okay going up maybe 5 or 10 more pounds, but without a real spotter there standing behind me, I just didn't feel really comfortable going for more. So I did decide that that was going to be what I was calling my one rep max for the time being. I do feel like I have the strength in me to bench press more weight. I do think it is just my form has too many power leaks in it that's just not quite letting me get there yet. I do have a lot of room to improve on bench. I know that for sure. And I just think it's going to be a fun journey trying to learn what I can and hopefully improve. And I am trying to get to a 225 bench press by the end of this year. So after the bench, I did go over to the overhead press. And as I had boned myself this morning by getting to the gym real late, so I had to leave in like 10 minutes. So again, after a speedy warm-up this time, I did do 115 pretty easily. For some reason, I had thought that morning my max was going to be like 110 pounds. Just like with squats, I had really underestimated myself for some reason. But I did 125 next for a pretty okay rep. And I was about to just call it there and head out for the day. But luckily, my girlfriend was there to call me out on my bullshit and said I needed to throw some 45s on the bar and do it right now. So reluctantly, I listened to her and I threw them on there. And sure enough, I got it up. Was not the cleanest rep. I did have a little arch in my back, but to my surprise, it did go up. My goal this year for overhead press, I would like to try and have a body weight overhead press as my weight increases, so I'm gonna need to do some work on that. But anything over body weight would just be awesome, but I do want to try to at least get up to around body weight. Overall, I am pretty happy with my starting point. While I was pretty spot on with the bench press guess, I was way off on my overhead press and squat max guesses. So I'm gonna either need to recalculate the weights I'm doing for that in my program or just make a bigger jump here soon. But I'm even more glad that I went ahead and did this today now and listened to my girlfriend telling me to push harder, because I might have really held myself back and any progress I make in the future could have slowed down drastically. Though I do have plenty of room to improve, I do have a good baseline now to look at and to just focus on making progress. I do want to again do this maybe in a few months to actually check up on my progress, and today's taught me a pretty valuable lesson, I feel like, about just my self-doubt and how my limiting beliefs can impact my life and hold me back, or at the very least slow me down. I've learned that it is perfectly fine to struggle and to fail, because that's just ultimately how I'm going to make myself grow and get stronger. If you got any tips for me, especially on improving my bench press, drop them down in the comments below. That's all I got for today. Just keep pushing forward, and I'll catch you in the next one.